welcome to Hackathons 101. We are so excited to have you here at Learn Day, and thank you for coming in so early for the first workshop. Excited to have you and jump into Hackathons 101. So, hi, I'm Taryn. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm a fourth year business and computer science student here at UBC. I'm your host for today's workshop, or this workshop, and I'm also currently serving as an nwPlus co-president this year. So if you have any questions about nwPlus, I've been a part of the team for 3 years now, and yeah, it's been a good time. I'm also currently on co-op as an associate product manager intern at Copilot AI. I transferred from 2 software internships, trying out product management now, and I've been loving it so far. So if you have questions about anything like that, feel free to come talk to me afterwards. Okay, so today's agenda, we are going to talk about 3 things. The first thing is, what are hackathons? Second thing is the hackathon process. And then we're going to jump into some quick HackCamp info and tips for tomorrow. Yeah, let's get started. So what the heck are hackathons? That's a great question, Timmy. Well, hackathons are essentially a really big and immersive learning environment where hackers can do a variety of things. So the main component of hackathons is building a project. You may know that there is a 12-hour competition tomorrow where you and your team will be building a project of your choice to learn new technologies. And that's the whole goal of hackathons, right? It's essentially a really big excuse to set aside some time and work on a project and learn some new skills. So today, throughout Learn Day, we'll be having a lot of workshops and going over a lot of new technical skills and also some soft skills as well. So stay tuned for the rest of those. And additionally, hackathons are a great way to meet like-minded people. You can meet other hackers, mentors, and sponsors. You never know. Maybe you'll be meeting your future boss right here in this room. So definitely make sure to introduce yourself to the person sitting next to you, people that you interact with throughout the weekend. It's a great way to meet new people. Lastly, we also have a lot of fun activities happening throughout the weekend, especially tomorrow. So if you ever need a break from hacking, don't stress yourself out, come enjoy the fun activities that are available. All in all, hackathons are a really fun way to get introduced to the tech industry. So we're super excited to have you here. We had a lot of applications this year, and we're so excited that all of you are joining us this weekend. Okay, some quick notes about hackathons. One thing that some students come in a little bit scared about is having prior programming experience, but I just want you to know that you do not need to have programming experience. I went to my first hackathon and I didn't know how to code a single line. So it is okay, and that is also why we have Learn Day today. It's an opportunity for you to get to learn new skills and try out new things. Because the industry doesn't really teach you that. You kind of have to learn it on your own. The second thing I want to say is, before you go into the hackathon tomorrow, if you're coming to Build Day, it's important to decide on what your goals are for the event. So a lot of people come in and they build their team and they want to build a really good project. They want to win, and that's great. But they end up teaming with someone who's like, it's fine. Like, I just want to hang out and like have fun and eat some free food. And that's also cool. But I think it's important to make sure that your goals align with your team's goals as well, just in case you don't want to get into any conflict and things like that. So make sure to decide what your priority is for tomorrow. Second thing I would say is try building a project. At the end of the day, that's what hackathons are all about. It's a learning experience, and we want you to build something really cool that maybe you can show future employers in the future, or maybe you can look back and say, wow, look at that fun project that I built back at HackCamp. Lastly, I'd say don't be afraid to talk to others. I kind of touched on this in the previous slide, but it's a really great opportunity to meet other people in the tech community, especially in Vancouver. The tech community is small, so everyone kind of knows everyone later down the line. So try to meet as many people as possible. And yeah, have fun. We are all here to have fun. You are all surprisingly here on a Saturday morning to come watch me talk about this. So while you're also learning today, make sure that you're enjoying it as well. Cool. So now that we know what hackathons are, we're going to talk about the hackathon process. And so there are a few steps in the process. The first thing that you need to do is build a team. So if you were just at team formation just before this, good job. That is step one. If you just came in and you don't have a team yet, that's okay. There is a Discord channel on the server if you're coming to build day tomorrow, and you can go into that channel and introduce yourself and find some teammates. We are also having a team formation session tomorrow as well, if you want to meet those people in person and try to build together your dream team. Okay, second part of the process is starting a project. Yes, that is the whole point. And the next step is don't give up. Sometimes it can be very discouraging when you have a really big bug and you just have a bunch of errors on your screen. But that's okay. We're going to talk about how to not give up and keep persisting. So once you persist, the next step is to submit a project. That part is important, but we'll talk about that later. And then lastly, it's what happens after the hackathon. Okay, so we're gonna jump into building a team. So you may come in with a group of friends already having a team, or you may just have met your team right now, or you may not have found your team yet, but that's okay. We're just gonna cover some quick roles that are typical to hackathon teams. So I'm gonna cover the first role, which is a designer. Not all teams will have a designer, and that's okay. But typically, if you do have one, they are in charge of designing your project in terms of the user experience, which is UX, and the user interface. So how does someone interact with your project? And also, does it look nice? So that is the designer's main goal. And after they design a project, they typically hand it over to the developers. And so the developers are in charge of implementing the project and the designs. They're making those designs functional. They're going to make that button do something when we click it. And I would say majority of the teams have more than one developer, but maybe you're a team of two, maybe you're a team of one, and that's okay. And some other roles that are potentially in your team would be a product manager. This person is keeping the team organized, scoping down the project, making sure that things happen and things are delegated to each of the other teammates. And lastly, you're going to have a presenter. So this is the person who's going to showcase the project. In short terms, they need to make your project easy to understand. They need to be able to communicate what your project does. And like I said before, we will be having a team formation tomorrow, right at 8 a.m. I would suggest that if you can, try to find your team today or before tomorrow, because hacking starts promptly at 8 a.m., which is when the team formation starts. So if you don't have to go to team formation, then you can start hacking on your project. Yes, I would say also that not every team has all of these roles, and some of these roles are combined and you'll take on different responsibilities. But these are just some general things to keep in mind. I've seen a team full of 4 developers and they did well, so you're good. Okay, next up, we're going to talk about kickstarting your project. I think this is where a lot of people get stuck sometimes at hackathons. They're like, oh, I don't know what to build. How do you even build a project? I want to make a website, but how do you even do that? And that is totally okay. I think the first thing that comes to mind when starting a project is you have to come up with an idea. At HackCamp, the general theme is for this year is inclusivity, diversity, and accessibility. However, projects do not have to pertain to these. This is not a strict theme or anything. So you can kind of build whatever you want. Whatever you're interested in, you can take a stab at it. One way to think about what kind of project that you want to build is to, one, make personal goals. So maybe you've always been dying to build like a website or a mobile project, and maybe that will guide kind of what your idea is. Or maybe you have a lot of problems in your life, because I definitely do. And you're gonna rant to your friends and talk about different problems they have, and then maybe that will be your inspiration for what kind of project that you want to build. Yeah, there's many ways to choose an idea. If you can't think of one, ask ChatGPT, all good. And the second part of kickstarting your project is planning it out. So first you want to pick a type of project. So either like a website, a mobile project, Chrome extension, anything you want. Again, if you have troubles figuring out what kind of project, you can ask someone else. You have mentors available at the event, or you can ask the internet. You also need to pick a technical stack. So what kind of technologies are you going to use to build your project? And sometimes the type of project will basically just dictate what technologies you're going to use. But there are thousands of technologies, tools, and other platforms that you can use to build your project. Give it a little bit of time to think about what exactly you want to learn. And once you've gotten your idea, your tech stack, and your type of project, you're going to want to scope that down, because tomorrow you only have 12 hours, and that includes eating, talking, napping, breathing, all those things. So make sure that you figure out what exactly is the bare minimum you need to build your project. And after that, you can kind of delegate those. And then if you have extra ideas, you can write them down on the side, and maybe you'll come back to it later. Yes, make sure you scope it down and think about your minimum viable product, the bare minimum. Yes, and then again, Google and ChatGPT are your best friends. So if you are stuck, like, I don't know what type of idea I want, or I want to build this idea, but like, I don't know what that looks like in terms of the project, what do I even need to learn for that? Just plug it into ChatGPT, it'll tell you. Okay, so again, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to the workshops that are also happening today. These will definitely be useful for any of the projects that you build, so make sure to attend them. The first one that is happening right after today's workshop is Intro to Version Control. So we're going to talk about Git and GitHub, which is essentially how you're gonna save and collaborate and share your code with other people. This one's pretty important if you're planning to code a project. Second thing we're gonna talk about is design. So we're gonna have an intro to Figma workshop, and this is a great tool, free tool for learning how to design your projects. After that, we're going to jump into a fun intro to Python workshop. If you're interested in learning more about that, maybe you've heard of that and you want to learn more. After that, we're going to take a quick break from technical workshops, and we're going to have a really solid internships 101 workshop. This one is a really good one if you're interested in learning more about how to break into the tech industry, how to land your first internship. It's more catered to software development. So if you're interested in that, definitely check that out. And then we also have an intro to web development workshop. And after that, we're building on top of that one with an intro to React workshop. Yeah, stick around. Make sure also to eat lunch and take a break if you need. Not all the workshops are back to back, so it's kind of hard to it's kind of hard to want to go eat, but make sure to just take a break. Just pick the ones that you want to go to. Okay, I'm going to also talk about some project winners from last year, just to give you an idea of like what a winning project might look like. It's not too scary. Yes, so there was 12 winner or finalists that we picked last year. So I just picked 2 of them. The first one is a Chrome extension that improves the user experience for colorblind people and makes any website colorblind friendly. So for this one, it was a pretty simple Chrome extension. They did a bunch of research on color blindness. I think there's 20 different kinds from what I read in the description. And basically you could choose from like a drop down of like what color blindness you have. And then the Chrome extension would just redo the colors on your page to match or to accommodate that color blindness. So I thought that was pretty cool, pretty simple one as well. The second thing was a website that pairs up users for a skill exchange. So if we had one person who knew how to speak French and they wanted to learn how to cook, and someone who knows how to cook wanted to learn French, it would pair them up, and then you could kind of do a fun little coffee chat or skill exchange. Yeah, I am also going to attach these slides in the Discord channel after. And I think it's also on the pre-rep page if you caught that QR code earlier. But this link at the bottom left has all of the HackCamp 2022 projects. So if you're looking for inspiration on a project, or you just want to see like what the level of like what you need to do is, I will leave that link there, and then you can kind of go stalk those projects and prepare for tomorrow. Yeah, so once you pick a project, the next step is to not give up. So we're going to talk about how to get unstuck, because it probably will happen. I think I've been to 4 hackathons this year, and I've gotten stuck every time, but it's okay. We persisted. Yes, okay, so the first thing I would do is if you run into an error or you don't really know what to do or you're kind of lost, definitely Google it. We live in a day and age where we have ChatGPT now, so that's also kind of nice. I would ask them first, but sometimes they don't always give the most accurate responses, and sometimes they have outages and whatever. So if that doesn't work, check out Stack Overflow. That's a great website for debugging your projects. And there's also some community forums for some of the tools and platforms that you'll be using. Sometimes you'll have a really like niche question, and it like ChatGPT will be like, I don't know what you're talking about. Stack Overflow won't know what you're talking about, but there will be a community platform or forum for that specific tool that you're using, and maybe someone else will have the question. So definitely check that out first. Secondly, ask your teammates. Maybe they put the bug in the project and they know why. So make sure to just cross-check that like they don't know what the bug is, or maybe they made the bug, so they do know. But yes, make sure to ask them. And if that doesn't work, we have a bunch of mentors tomorrow that'll be in person. So there's 2 ways to access your mentors. One is to go to the Ask Mentors Discord channel. And this way you can just put your ticket in and it'll put you in a queue, so a waiting system. Or if you want to bypass all that, you can just go to the mentor room in live 2214 and then just directly ask someone in person. We also have some organizers floating around, and they were the ones teaching the workshops, so they will also be knowledgeable potentially. Yes. Yeah, and I just wanted to re-emphasize that hackathons are a place for you to learn how to learn. If you're working in the tech industry and you're in a job, no one's going to hand walk you through the whole process. They're not going to teach you how to build, how to code a feature, how to design something, how to do everything to the T. So this is an important skill to learn, how to be resourceful and kind of learn on your own. If you're taking any computer science classes at UBC, you'll know that they won't teach you everything. You kind of have to like figure out like, oh, what's Java? How do I use that? So make sure to be resourceful, be confident in yourself, and remember that it's okay. At the end of the day, it's just a hackathon. It's 12 hours of your life. You can continue the project afterwards, so don't worry too much. Okay, so after you finish your project, or maybe you don't finish your project, make sure to submit your project. Why? To win prizes. Yes. Also, for every project that will be submitted during the hackathon, we'll be donating $10 to a charity of your choice. So if you like charity, please submit a project. It's also a really good way to showcase your progress and work to maybe future employers, or maybe to yourself. You can kind of see, like maybe you'll look back in like 2 years and see, oh, I've come so far. Oh, thank God I'm not in tech. And yeah, it's also a really good way to practice your presentation skills. So for your project demo, you're going to be uploading a video, and that'll be going to our nwPlus portal, as well as the dev post as well. There will be more information in your hacker package if you don't know what those are. But typically, project demo structure is your introduction. So why am I building this project? 2 is like, what is it? And how did I build it? So what technologies did I use? How did I decide to build it? And then after that, you can talk about your problems. And by problems, I mean the problems that you had with your project, not your personal problems. Don't do that. And after that, you can talk about what's next. And so are you planning to continue the project, or what would I do differently if I had more time, or like if I had more time, what would I add? And this would be a great way in your demo to kind of show like, see, I only had 12 hours and I built this like very scrappy MVP, but if I had more time, then I would add all these other things that I thought of before. So that's a great way. I think that's a good recipe for all hackathons, not just HackCamp. Since for HackCamp, we will be doing peer judging. So all of you in the crowd will be judging each other, but not personally, the projects. So peer judging is going to happen right after the hacking period ends from 8:10 to 8:45 tomorrow. And you're going to move over to IKB. So you're going to go to room IBLC 182, and that's also where closing ceremonies will happen, and they're going to announce the project winners. So make sure you do that. Yeah, I also forgot to mention, if you have any questions, feel free to raise your hand. It's kind of, we're already on step 4, but it's okay. We can go back if we have any questions. And I will be sharing these slides afterwards. So if you miss some of this information, it's okay. It'll be out there again. Yeah, submit a project. Okay. So after you submit a project, I think a lot of people just kind of forget about their hackathon projects. It's kind of like, whatever, I finished, I survived. But I think it's really important to, one, like share your progress, share your work. And you can do that in a couple ways. One would be to showcase your project directly on GitHub. If you're applying for jobs in the future and employers are like reviewing your application, they might go to your GitHub profile, which will be talked about in the next workshop if you don't know what that is. And they'll be like analyzing like your code maybe, or they'll just look at your project and see like, oh, are they passionate about technology? Do they want to learn? Are they building stuff outside of school? And so post hackathon, make sure to put your project somewhere on the internet if you want. It's just a great way to show your future employers, but also, I don't know, maybe you want to look back on your project and be like, wow, I did that when I was in UBC. And yeah, secondly, I would say if you don't want to do that, one thing that like you could also do is maybe write a little like LinkedIn post or like blog to share your experience. This is also a great way to showcase to employers that you're thinking about tech, you want to like learn more, you're excited. But if you don't want to do that, that's okay. I'd say another thing to do is stay in touch with everyone you met. So if maybe you bumped into someone in the washroom or like during the hacking period and you want to stay in touch, make sure to get their contact information, social media, anything like that. We also have a LinkedIn channel on Discord as well. So if you want to just pop your like link in there, I know a lot of people after hackathons just kind of like go through that list, just connect with everyone. So if you want more connections, go do that. If not, totally fine. I would say the last thing that I think is like a good opportunity is to continue your project. Maybe you came up with a really solid idea with your team and you want to see it through and build out the rest of it. Maybe you ran into some bugs and like doesn't look like the best, but you want it to be out there. Do it. I think it's cool. I recently did that I went to Hackathon in September, and then afterwards my team and I decided to deploy our project. So we did that. Yeah, also a good way to show employers that you were so passionate and that you just didn't go to a one-time event. Okay, so yeah, we kind of wrapped up the hackathon process. I hope that all made sense, but if not, you can come talk to me after, ask in the Discord channel for this workshop, or I don't know, flame me privately on Reddit. But yes, we are going to talk about some HackCamp information for tomorrow. And this is like key information. There's a lot of things on the schedule that I think you can access on the portal. However, these are some things that you should definitely remember. So opening ceremony starts at 7:30 a.m. I am so sorry, but it is really important to attend this because they're going to talk about important information regarding project submission and like what you need to do throughout the day. So if you missed that, you may be a little confused, but we'll also have some information in the Discord. But if you can, try to go to opening ceremonies. And then lastly, that sets you up, or not lastly, but that sets you up for hacking. So hacking starts at 8 a.m. 8 a.m. So as soon as the clock hits 8, you can start pushing your code or like starting to code your project. And yeah, that is really important that you don't start before hacking starts because it will disqualify your project. So make sure to start hacking at 8 or after 8. After that, we're gonna have another team formation session. It's gonna happen at 8:10 to 9 at Life 2302. I think that is the main hacking room for the day. It's the main venue that we're gonna be in. Lunch is at 12, dinner is at 6, and those will both be in the Abdul Lada building, which is really close to the Life building. Hacking starts at 7:30. Ends. Hacking ends at 7:30. Hacking starts at 8 a.m. Hacking ends at 7:30. Remember that. I will edit those slides afterwards before I post them. So make sure that you finish hacking at 7:30 p.m. Yes. And we will be checking all of the projects that make it through. We will check whether or not you stay within that hacking period. Same with any other hackathons that you go to. They will just instantly disqualify your project if you hack outside of that time. So make sure that you hack from 8 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. What time? 8 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. Okay, great. So after that, we're gonna do some peer judging. If you are interested in being, question. Yes, you can think of okay, so the question was, is ideation okay happening before the hackathon? Yes, do that. Make sure, or like if you can, like it's great to have an idea beforehand and like you want to make like a Google Doc or like wherever you keep your notes. You can definitely plan out what your idea is gonna be. But what we're checking is that you're not like writing code and then submitting it or like saving it anywhere. So make sure that you do not do that. But yes, you can do all the planning beforehand. I would actually encourage that because you only have 12 hours to work on your project. So the more head start you can get, the better. If you are trying to win or become a finalist. If not, don't worry, you're chilling. You just come for a good time, fun time. Yes, and yeah, if you are interested in being eligible for project prizes, you have to do peer judging, which happens after the hacking period. And that'll happen at 8:10. Yes, that'll happen at 8:10 p.m. And it'll go till 8:45 p.m. So during this time, your team will get assigned like some other projects that other people submitted, and you'll be able to judge them. And that'll help kind of formulate the winners for the time being. And after that, we will be having our closing ceremony. So that is where we're kind of announcing like all of the winners, all the stats, really fun time. You can come down to IBLC 182 for that, which is where peer judging will be. So hopefully you just stay in the room. But if you also bought a raffle ticket to Pi and Organizer, hopefully not me, please also come because we'll be doing that live in the closing ceremony. So as one of you who bought a raffle ticket will just lightly. But yes, so don't miss that. I know it's a long day, but it's only one day of the life. Unless you come to nwHacks or cmd-f. Okay, that's it. Yeah. Thank you so much for listening. You can connect with me here on LinkedIn or Instagram. I also put it in the prerequisite page if you caught that QR code at the beginning, or if you are in the Discord and you're in the channel, it's also in there if you want to learn more about that. But yeah, we'll move on into Q&A. If you want to go take like a water break before like the next like workshop, you can do that. But if you have questions, I'll be here to answer right here. So yeah, thank you. Oh, yeah, question? Does only one member of the team submit a project? Yes, yes. Yeah. Is there gonna be coffee at the 7:30 a.m. opening ceremony?
No, but we all snacks.
No, but there will be snacks.
I have 15 minutes to be company.
Yeah. Oh, question. Oh, I'm so sorry. Can everyone lower their voices a little bit? I can't hear the question. What's the question? How do you like?
When we submit the project tomorrow, when we submit the project tomorrow, there will be actually with email and link to the project.
Okay, I'll repeat the question. The question was, how do you, if one person is submitting the project, how do you submit as a team? And the answer to that question is when you submit the project, there will be a field where you can list out who your team members are for the project. And then that way we'll know who's on your team. Oh, also make sure your team is max 4 people. It cannot be bigger than 4 people. If we see on the project there's more than 4 contributors, we will disqualify the project. So make sure max 4 people. Other questions? Okay, I think we're good. Okay, have a nice break before the slew of workshops that are happening today. And thank you so much.